Hi there, my name is Prancer. I identify as a reindeer. This ad is what we call damage control. Our thinking is, maybe if we post an ad with our iconic Clydesdale that identifies as a reindeer, and we say vaguely patriotic things,
this is the story of the American spirit.
People will like us again.
Incidentally, I used to have a deep, rich, baritone voice. Then I started drinking Bud Light.
It changes you. Look at these two typical American firemen. We can't put two white people together in an ad. We still have to virtue signal a little. I mean, we're still woke. We're just not that woke. Here's another couple of people. Also two different races. I mean, honestly, what we really need to do is just say, we f***ed up. But we all know that's not gonna happen. So just look at the pretty horse that identifies as a reindeer and drink Budweiser again. If you don't, they said they're taking me to the glue factory. Look, there's two more dudes. Is that guy white? Is he Hispanic? Nobody knows. He's what we call ethnically ambiguous, our favorite race of all. This white guy gets it. So remember folks, at Budweiser, we'll always be a little woke. This Bud's not for you. You know, maybe cutting my tail off was a mistake. What do you guys think? Well, it's too late now. No coming back from that.
Well, the CEO of Budweiser issues a non-apology apology and then attempts to release a feel-good patriotic commercial over the weekend. Too little, too late.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hey, this is Pastor Marty with the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. All you have to do is click subscribe, smack the bell, and then check the word all to make sure you get notifications of all of my rants. It all started when Dylan Mulvaney, the guy who wears woman face, who's not actually a woman, who's not even really transgender. He is a female parody. Walks around in his Mrs. Maisel dresses, acting like a 12-year-old girl, living 365 days as a woman. Now, the best defense that those who want to help Dylan can come up with is, he's silly. Joe Rogan said, he's silly. Don Lemon said, he's silly. No, he's not silly, he's sick. And this is all about conditioning and programming young people in particular, teens, preteens, kids, to accept this as, quote, normal behavior. That is exactly what this is about. And Bud Light, I am sure, when they grabbed Dylan Mulvaney for a quick ad campaign at the end of March, they were thinking about yet reaching another demographic. Their VP of marketing talking about we need to get away from our fratty boy image, despite the fact we have now seen photographs of her in college at a frat party, drinking shots from a condom. Yeah, I really don't want to see her doing that either. So please don't put that in a Bud Light ad. But this whole idea that we are going to expand by basically embracing everything, no matter what it does to your base, to your support, to those that still believe, you know what? There are some things that are sacred. There are some traditional values that we hold on to that we cannot allow to be stolen or eroded or desecrated. And the very basic, that there is male and female, and that we are going to stand on traditional values and truth. And that area is not a lot to ask. But apparently, to Donald Trump Jr., it is.
Anheuser-Busch totally the bed with this Dylan Mulvaney thing. I'm not, though, for destroying an American and iconic company for something like this. When I actually look into it, I'm not going to blame the whole company for the inaction or the stupidity of someone in a marketing campaign that got woke as hell. And we looked into the political giving and lobbying history of Anheuser-Busch. And guess what? They actually support Republicans. In woke corporate America, Anheuser-Busch supports Republicans.
Oh, and by the way, Don, what you've also done is you've allowed all of the liberal YouTubers and podcasters to have something to come after us on. Look, the right is divided. While some of the right turns into snowflakes and melts down over Bud Light, Donald Trump Jr. becomes the voice of reason. Good job, Don. Good job. And by the way, though what I thought was funny, this new product that's out, what is it, ultra-right beer, the dads coming out and hawking their new beer to replace Bud Light. You didn't do us any favors either. Because your beer is like $20 for 6 cans, plus the shipping makes the beer $35 for a 6-pack. And I've already done this pre-order when we were canceling, remember Hershey? And Jeremy from Jeremy's Razors over at The Wire came out with his he and her chocolate. One had nuts, one doesn't. You figure out which one. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I bought a box. 4 candy bars with shipping cost me $25. I was supposed to get it on March the 15th. It's now April the 17th. I still haven't gotten it. I've sent emails. I've asked. No reply. I've sent to customer service. I've sent them screenshots over the fact that they processed my payment, and nothing. So what I don't need, what we on the right don't need right now, is when these culture wars erupt and we're taking a stand and we're winning, we don't need members of the right trying to grift on it. Are you hearing me, Ben Shapiro? And we certainly don't need members of the right, especially those of us that are supporting your dad, Don Jr. We don't need you getting in the way with your modified position because you're worried that what? Budweiser is going to stop giving to Republicans? Give me a break. Don, leave the politics to your dad. First of all, you should have done just a wee tad of research and homework before you cut your video. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser is not owned by an American company. It was sold. It's now owned by a Belgian company. In fact, the headquarters for Budweiser is in Belgium. That would have been good for you to know. So it's not an iconic American company. That's number one. Number two, I don't care if they donate to Republicans. I know this is going to be hard for you to maybe understand, but really not everything is about money. Some things are simply comes down to right or wrong. And embracing this individual, this Dylan Mulvaney, who is clearly not a woman, is clearly not even one that's really can be taken seriously as transgender. This individual, at best, is a narcissist parody caricature that has used this to simply become a viral sensation in social media. He's found his ticket to his 15 minutes of fame. The fact that he's out there prancing and dancing and selling sports bras ought to be an insult to real women, in particular female athletes. What? Nike couldn't find an actual real female athlete to sell their product? They used Dylan Mulvaney, which makes as much sense as having Britney Spears sell jockstraps. Oil of Olay is using Dylan Mulvaney. Really? Are you kidding me? And the woman that came on to defend that decision, sitting there all wrinkly and cracked and looking like the Crypt Keeper, talking about,
I don't know why you're getting so upset about Dylan Mulvaney selling Oil of Olay.
In reality, if Dylan Mulvaney were a real female, you wouldn't need a 20-something selling Oil of Olay. It's for middle-aged and older women to reduce the look of aging. So on a whole marketing level, it's not really about marketing. It's about this continual patronizing. It's about this continue virtue signaling. And we've had enough. Don, conservative, traditional America has had enough. They boycott us all the time. Your dad was kicked off every social media platform. Have you forgotten that? the brands that your dad does like. He likes to go to McDonald's. Has McDonald's ever asked him in any way to officially speak or represent them? I mean, he's probably driven more business to them than any 10 celebrities combined. But of course, they're not going to do that because they don't like your dad, they don't like what he stands for, etc., etc., etc. They have, quote, canceled him. And we have had an opportunity, finally, these corporations which constantly want our money, but yet insult us. They constantly tell us that we're the ones that are out of touch, out of step, that our values are not really American values, but boy, do they want our American money. So I'm sorry, Don, this isn't just about who they gave some money to. What? So because they donate to some Republican candidates, we're supposed to just let them do or say whatever they want? Are you being serious right now? I mean, give me a break. Okay, so they give to some Republicans. So what? And we can't hold it against the entire company for what one dumb woke executive did? Right. And I am sure that your dad back in the day when he was running all of, Trump Incorporated, that when one employee did some kind of blunder like that, he just kind of laughed it off and issued a non-apology apology and life went on, right? No, of course not. That executive and anybody that worked with that executive and put a campaign together that was, off-brand would have been fired. Has the VP of marketing been fired, Don? No. So they haven't been fired. We haven't gotten an apology, but yet now we're just supposed to end the boycott. Bull hawk we are. And this isn't a one and done deal, Don. Bud Light has been moving in this direction literally now for years.
The Bud Light party here celebrating Steve and Greg's wedding.
Gay weddings, they're just like any wedding. You've got cringeworthy speeches. Bud Light proudly supports everyone's right to marry whoever they want.
To the groom!
And the groom.
Well, for Shamu and Rogan to talk about that speeches at weddings are cringy, nothing is cringier than that commercial. And again, it's all about virtue signaling. It's all about patronizing. And you can say it's just a marketing technique, but what it really is telling the rest of us we are going to accept anything and everything that these people, in their woke view of the world, we have to just accept it. Just if you don't like it, just don't watch the commercial, but keep buying the product, keep spending the money, keep giving them the profits to produce the materials that attack us, our values, and where we stand. Is that really what you're asking us to do there, Don Jr.? Seriously. You should have thought through your little statement. You should have run that maybe by Dad. You should have really thought this all the way through. Because this thing has literally taken on a life of its own. Because this is a clear indication where you don't get not only where your base is, but where millions of people in this country are right now. They have had it. They have had it with the targeting of children, with all of this LGBTQ1A plus 50, whatever new term they've given it this week. They have had it. They have had it with drag queens waving their junk in the faces of kids. They have had it with churches like the United Methodist holding Drag Me to Church Sunday, where drag queens come in now and tell Bible stories to kids. People have had it. Build-A-Bear now has a RuPaul bear so that you can teach your kids it's cool to put girl clothes on a boy teddy bear. I saw this article and somebody commented, yeah, when I was a kid, I saw Bugs Bunny wear a wig and lipstick and it traumatized me. LOL. This is something that the transgender community loves to point to, that back in the day, like the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, that oftentimes comedians, etc., would put on a dress and America would laugh. They didn't wig out. They didn't melt down. Well, we didn't wig out. We didn't melt down. We didn't think Milton Berle was transgender. We didn't think Bugs Bunny was trying to be presented to kids as a transgendered cartoon character. We laughed because it was ironical. It was absurd. It was unbelievable. That's why we laughed. The reason we cry now is you're not doing it for laughs anymore. You're doing it because you're as serious as a fat woman having a heart attack in the middle of an intersection. This is the America that you want. You want kids not knowing what gender they are. You are proposing legislation around the country that would strip parental rights from even being involved in these kinds of decisions with school therapists and doctors before they start undergoing gender reassignment treatment and surgery. But they're not coming for the kids. No. And there is so much of this happening that the American people, by and large, feel powerless to do anything about. And along comes Dylan Mulvaney, pressing around in his Mrs. Maisel dress, sitting in a bathtub, drinking Bud Light, and finally the American people said, that we can do something about. And Don Jr., you better figure that out. You better figure that out real fast. And you better figure out that we want someone that is going to fight the good fight. It's not always going to be the popular fight, but it's the right fight. And in this case, it is the popular fight, and it is the right thing. And this is where America is. Because if we yield ground on this now, what's next? Pedophilia on a can? Don, this is one you should have stayed out of. And Bud Light, you still owe us an apology.